This episode is brought to you by Samsung. Unfold the all-new Galaxy Z Fold 4 and expand your world. With Flex Mode, it stands on its own, so you're hands-free to get more done during calls. And with multi-window view, you can use up to 3 apps at the same time. Plus, the edge-to-edge screen allows you to fully immerse yourself in your favorite games and shows. Visit Samsung.com to learn more about Galaxy Z Fold 4.
Good morning. I was just waiting to see if you're going to respond to that.
I wasn't gonna.
So you knew my
You said
game.
10 seconds of silence. I was staying silent, my man. I follow rules on Tennis Pod.
Oh, man. Well,
You got to use that. You got to use that whole gap of silence. Don't edit out any of the silence.
oh, bro. Any chance I can get to do a few seconds less of editing, I'll take it.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, the voice you're hearing over there is my friend Mike Szego of the Link podcast. He's going to be my sidekick host today. God help us. My name is Nick Amell. I'm the host of the Tennis Podcast. Every week, we cover top tennis lists. One of us brings a list, the other one tries to guess. But before we get to the list, Michael, I'd like you to tell the fine folks at home a little more about you and why they should give a shit.
I'm really handsome, but you can't see that right now, so that's a good start.
No.
No, okay. Backup plan. My podcast is pretty solid most of the time.
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good most of the time.
All
Yes.
right. And we've done episodes
Yeah.
before, so we're going to fall into a fun, silly rhythm where you'll be disappointed in all
absolutely.
the silly things that I say, and then I'll continue to say them anyway.
Yes.
That's kind of how we roll.
It's a given.
Yeah. Except we were fighting right before this podcast started.
It's true. So right before we hit record here, I was DMing Mike on Instagram saying, bro, we got to fight about your fucking food opinions.
Yeah.
Because I listened to, it's a few weeks old now, but the episode you did with Laura on the food
Yes,
fight episode,
yes,
right?
yes.
You both stated kind of like your opinions, your hot takes on food.
We
And
did.
I'm just sitting there like shaking my head being like, Mike, I love you. I love this pod, but I don't know if I can finish this thing
Dude.
because
I can't help if you have the opinions of a child when it comes to chocolate, dude. I don't know what to do about it.
listen,
Tell the listeners, why don't you explain it? And I
Sure.
want your listeners to judge independently. Even though they're going to agree with me, I want to give you every possibility to win them over.
right, maybe we'll run a poll.
We should.
The whole thing is that Mike is trying to convince everyone that dark chocolate is the superior chocolate to milk chocolate.
Correct.
Much of his argument was based on the fact that it's healthier for you, it's better for your body.
Well, that was a backup argument. First of all, but I appreciate that you listened and took
Well,
notes.
no one's going to buy the taste argument. No one's going to buy the taste
Well,
argument.
there is literally just more taste. There is more taste. I don't even know how you could refute
Oh,
it.
sure, worse taste.
Okay.
There's worse taste. There's more worse taste.
You know, if your palate isn't refined enough to handle the taste, I don't know. I mean, fair enough, I guess. That's why I said milk chocolate is a children's chocolate, and children are great. Nothing wrong with a child.
Well, some children are great.
Well, that's true.
There's some things wrong with some childs.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get there. But yes, look, dark chocolate's fine. I'm fine with dark chocolate. But
It doesn't sound
But-
like you are.
there's a reason all the chocolate sold in stores is milk chocolate first, and dark chocolate is
Not true.
is a bonus. It's like if you can find dark chocolate, great, but it's not a given that it's going to be there.
You got to work for it. It's like a scavenger hunt. When you find the thing, it's actually more rewarding.
Okay, so Reese's and Kit Kat and Hershey
All come in dark chocolate.
but they're milk chocolate first, and milk chocolate's the one front and center at the candy aisle at the store.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't deny that milk chocolate has a more mass appeal, probably. Good Gangstar song,
Good. Case closed.
but we're talking about what's better, not what more people like. And you want to take the road less traveled, or I do. You know, you can sing with the masses. I understand. It's fine.
Oh God. Night. Okay, but look, the chocolate thing is clear we're not going to agree on. But you had some other takes on that episode. Like, now look, I respect anyone who doesn't want to like mayonnaise. That's fine.
Terrible.
Mayonnaise. I look. I don't love mayonnaise, but I'm fine with it. But you're eating Brussels sprouts and shit, and then
Yeah.
walking over here and shitting on mayonnaise. So
Yeah. Brussels sprouts are great if you know how to make them. If you're eating like a raw Brussels sprout, then I don't even know what you're trying to do. But if you roast that thing, little extra virgin olive oil, crushed red pepper, salt, pep, throw it in the oven, you're ready to rock, dude. It's just as good as broccoli, which I also love. I'm into greens.
I do love broccoli. All I heard in your sentence there was extra virgin.
Yeah?
But I did want to ask you...
Can't deny it.
Oh, what is mayonnaise? Like, I was listening and I'm like, I like mayonnaise. I'll take mayonnaise on my burger, but I actually don't know what the fuck it is.
Dude, I think I did look it up. I think it's really, and when I looked it up, I was like, oh, why don't I like this exactly? But then I realized why I don't like it, because it's jiggly and weird.
Like Dr. Buster, but we like him.
That's true. I can't deny that either. I've never met him, so I don't want to say bad things, but I've listened to him, and...
You can take my word for it.
Incredible content. Eggs and oil, like olive oil, I think. Mix that puppy together, but it's just... When it comes out, it's too jiggly, man. I can't. I don't want it to jiggle.
But it's not jiggly when it's on like a burger or a sandwich. It's liquidy and flat.
It comes from seeing it in the jar and understanding what its true form is. And then maybe it's like Dracula, you know? Like when it's a bat, you're like, oh, it's just a bat. But then it turns into Dracula. You're like, whoa, what the hell what is going on here?
I'll accept that.
It's almost exactly the same as that. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing we did agree on is no fish.
No fish. Not a fish guy. No, I try.
Yeah.
I do try things. But
I do try
not
too.
a fish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Mike, we're not fish guys, but we both have podcasts.
That's true.
And if you're listening to us now, you might have come from Mike's podcast, where earlier this week he dropped an episode on The Link for me guessing the top 10 HBO shows.
Yep.
And so you might have been driven here from that. And if you haven't listened to that, you should. I'm putting a link in the show notes.
Link to the link. It's nice. It's a built-in pun every time, man. It's good stuff.
I know. I almost said something about that. That's why I kind of stammered there. And then I was like, no, too obvious.
Yeah. I take the obvious jokes.
You got it. So yes, we did the top 10 HBO shows. Now we're going to do the Netflix equivalent of that episode. A top 10 most viewed Netflix original series in history of all time. What do you have to say about that?
I'm curious whether... We didn't really nail down, and I wanted for your audience also, which one you like better between the two, HBO and Netflix. We don't have to go deep into this, but I'm curious.
Sure. That's a great question. Today, right now, as we record this, HBO 100%.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. But I do think that Netflix has this thing which is more... Also, I'm a Netflix shareholder, so I'm going to try to pump them up for the people, you know what I mean? Yeah? Oh, well, then we're both pretty upset. But besides the point...
Yeah.
I do believe like Netflix was kind of maybe not the first to market because HBO was there before it, but the streaming thing, they kind of have like such a brand identity that I really do think they'll last, and their originals are generally better than all the other streaming originals, I find, most of the time. Apple TV's coming on strong, I gotta say. But you're right, HBO just has those huge budget things that you just can't top. It's hard.
When I think today, again, because it changes depending on the year sometimes,
Definitely.
But today I think like if you want a high quality show and you can have faith that your time invested in the show will pay off, HBO is where I'm going. But I think Netflix has a bad rap, rightfully so these days, because they're doing all this, they're going after password sharing and all the stuff that people like to make fun of Netflix for. But you have to remember, if you're looking at the entire history of streaming and my time as a streaming customer, which is probably 10 or more years by this point, starting with Netflix, Netflix was the innovator. They were the first ones to go big in streaming. They were the first ones to produce original content on a streaming platform that wasn't licensed from another producer. So I think you have to hand it to Netflix in that way, even if they're losing subscribers now for the first time ever.
Trailblazer, for sure. They really set the standard. And still, one thing that I really do like is that they have the best user interface. They have like the nicest navigation.
Agreed.
And it just looks nice, works cleanly. It's very good. So I'm a Netflix guy.
Yeah, I'm a Netflix guy too.
Yeah.
So let me kind of give you the details of exactly what you're going to be guessing.
Okay.
First of all, my sources today are Netflix's own investor reports. They report on all the streaming data. There's also GamesRadar.com, CNET, Business Insider, IMDb, Wikipedia. So ran the gamut today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of Netflix, but what you're actually going to be guessing is the most watched series based on Netflix's own reporting of total hours viewed in the first 28 days of that title's release.
Interesting. Okay, good
You
starts. I'm with you.
And if you're a Netflix investor, you're probably familiar that they like to report on hours viewed more than viewers.
Yep. Rewatchability. That's why.
Rewatchability, yeah. This is a top 10-ish list of all time based on Netflix's own reporting. This data is as of July 2022. And we're only looking at Netflix original series, so shows that Netflix owns and or produced. Not always the same.
Right.
And lastly, before we can kind of dive in, is we're talking about specific seasons of shows, although you're fine to just guess the show as a whole, and I'll tell you which season it is.
Understood. That's fair.
So, Michael, how long have you been a Netflix subscriber?
Oh, man. I mean, I wasn't actually a subscriber during the DVDs, but as soon as they switched to streaming, that's when I jumped aboard. So, pretty much OG.
I did both. I remember sending back DVDs.
Yeah.
What a fucking crazy business model in retrospect, right?
But that's what got them on the map, though. That is what made them work.
Sure.
And then they innovated. And actually, I don't mean to get off on a tangent. We're going to guess some stuff. But I do think there's another shoe to drop here. I think some of these streaming services have to go further into live content, which Hulu already does.
Yes.
YouTube does some of it.
Peacock.
I think the NFL is going to have new deals with some people, so that'll be interesting. Peacock has it, you're right. And I think Netflix needs to have some kind of other avenue. So I'm waiting for them to buy something big like that, whether it's sports or I don't know what it's going to be, but something has to happen.
Tennis Podcast.
Ah,
This is where we're breaking the news. Tennis Podcast coming exclusively to Netflix.
those investor reports are about to skyrocket.
Right. I'm joking, but as I said, I'm like, it's probably not too far-fetched to think Netflix will start getting into podcasting just like every fucking one else is. Like,
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, if Spotify can do it, what's really the difference, you know?
Right. Spotify, Facebook tried it, failed.
Yeah.
YouTube's looking to do so. Yeah, I could see it coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, let's talk a little bit about Netflix as a company. They launched in August 1997. And like we alluded to, they shipped DVDs to people's houses. Like, some people might not know that, like kind of the younger generation, but they would physically ship a DVD to your house. You'd watch it over however many days, and then you'd ship it back. And there were no late fees either, which is a thing too.
Netflix is 25 years old?
97, yeah.
Quick math, by the way. How impressive was that? That is crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like a lot of time?
Right. When they came out, their biggest competitor was Blockbuster, which feels like a dinosaur now.
But I remember Blockbuster tried to copy the Netflix model by doing the DVD sales, and it failed miserably.
But as of March 2022, Netflix has over 221 million subscribers worldwide. 221 million people subscribe to Netflix, about 34% of which is based in the United States. It is the largest streaming service in the world, as we covered on a past episode of Tennis Podcast. As far as all companies, not just streaming companies, it is number 115 on the Fortune 500. I have a few other notes, but I'll save those. So, Mike, enough dilly-dallying. Tell me a guess. What is a Netflix original series you think has been viewed more than any other?
Okay. Easy first one. I'm curious if you've watched it. I watch a lot of TV, by the way. So if I go into these, stop me and get me to guess more. But Stranger Things?
Of course, Stranger Things is on here, sir.
Got to be the new season, too, as well.
The new season, season 4 of Stranger Things, is number 2 on the top 10.
Not number 1. Wow.
Yeah, number 1.
I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I think you'll get number 1 once you start thinking through it.
Okay.
Although you are pretty bad at guessing.
First of all, I got like 5 in a row the last time I was on, and I thought I was going to run the gamut, and then I collapsed, which is tough. But I'm going for it this time. I believe.
I forgot about that, but you're right. You did pretty good at front and then fucking like awful sucked. Wanted to leave the pod halfway through.
Yeah. I think what happened was it was a sports one and you got me talking about how much I hate Tom Brady and that just threw me off.
It's true.
Yeah. You got in my head. Respect.
I have a few rants prepared today, I think. So we'll get to those. But yeah, Stranger Things season 4 I did watch.
Did you like it?
And you did watch it too?
Yes.
I'd say overall I liked it. Not the strongest season, and I thought the main villain was a little lame.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked that he had Freddy Krueger vibes. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also, I've been running up the hill so long, I don't know if I'm ever going to come down the other side. Kate Bush. That song is great.
That song is, and that's one of my notes, man. I love that song. I'd heard, I was more familiar with the cover of that song from a few years ago.
Interesting.
I forget the band, but a band covered that song and it did really well. I had kind of forgotten it was a cover, and then this Kate Bush thing blew up with Stranger Things, and now it's like,
Pretty cool.
Everyone's listening to it.
If you like that song, I'm heavy into music too. Don't Give Up by Peter Gabriel is a duet with Kate Bush. A lot of people don't know a lot of her other stuff. Apparently she was big across the pond. I don't know how many listeners you have over there, but probably a ton if I had to guess.
Few.
So they probably know that song. It's a good one.
She owns all the shit. Like, she owns all the rights to her music.
She's making bank.
Yeah, she's making bank.
Good
and
for
that's
her.
What I wanted to say is Kate Bush is running up that hill. It was featured multiple times as in multiple times per episode. Like, they
hammered it.
They really did her a favor.
Yeah.
It's featured multiple times, including as part of the key scene in episode 4. I won't spoil it.
Yep.
The song saw a resurgence of popularity with an increase of over 8,700% on streaming charts,
Whoa.
reaching the second most heard song on Spotify playlists in the United States and fourth most worldwide.
That's crazy. Oh
That's
my
crazy.
God. Yeah, wow. Good for her. What a choice too. Like,
Yeah.
they are great with music, honestly. That show nails the soundtrack all the time, but what a random choice that absolutely crushed. Everyone loves it.
I love that song.
Yeah.
And they really crushed the 80s too. 80s vibe. Let me tell you more about this show. So, Stranger Things, the season that is on here, season 4, was released in 2022, and it was watched 1.3 billion hours of season 4.
Billion
Netflix
with a B?
Yeah, 1.3 billion hours. So if you were to divide that, let's just do some quick math and I'll kind of edit it. But like 1.3 billion divided by how many episodes? I think there was 9,
Yeah,
8 or 9.
I think 9 might be right, yeah.
Let's say 9. So 9 episodes, and then divide each. What am I doing? Do I know what the fuck I'm doing?
I think you nailed it. I think they get it.
Okay, it's a lot. Who cares?
That'll come out in the editing. It'll be great.
Just thinking of all the editing I'm gonna have to do.
No, I think you leave it exactly how it is, by the way. The people know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the non-edit is the edit. You know what I mean?
Right. That's profound.
I know.
That's profound, Mike.
Every now and then, once per episode, I have something that actually sounds good.
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about food opinions.
No.
You're pretty smart sometimes.
Well, mayo's terrible, but I understand.
So 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a very popular season and show with critics. So about Stranger Things as a whole, it's set in the 1980s, primarily in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana. It centers on a number of mysteries and supernatural events occurring around the town and their impact on an ensemble cast, child and adult characters. Now, it's kind of unavoidable, but it was kind of distracting to me to watch these like 21-year-old actors pretend they're in the 10th grade still.
They're so old. Dude, the one person, the captain of the basketball team that was like giving a speech in the gym at some point.
He's like
who was
35.
supposed to be like, yeah, he was supposed to be a high school senior, but also like, he's older than me and I ain't no spring chicken anymore. So, I mean, what are we doing? That's like, it's unforgivable kind of, because the main cast you can't do anything about. Whatever, I get that. But when you add a new character and he's old, it's like, why?
I thought he did a good job, though.
Yeah, he's a good actor, for sure. None of them, it's not their fault.
You hate him, though. You hate that actor?
Hated the choice. Hated the choice.
Mike hates that actor. Let me write that down. It'll be quote of the week.
Yeah, write it down. Tweet him on social media. Send him to the Link Podcast. We'll talk about it.
I agree with what you said. Like, the main 4, you can't really do anything about it other than maybe do a time jump. I don't know. Like, I've heard is going to be the decision for the next season.
I mean, they better be filming immediately because you can't wait anymore. Like, this is already so ridiculous. Although, I got to say, shout out Eddie. That character was awesome. The actor was awesome.
Eddie.
I don't want to spoil anything, but
Love that guy, dude.
his peak scene, great.
Amazing. Talk about another song that really benefited. Not that it needed it, but...
I know.
Yeah, but Eddie is one of my favorite TV characters in a while that I've seen, like new characters.
Totally agree. Especially a person that wasn't originally in the cast and then joins. That's so much harder to do.
Yeah, totally.
And he didn't look 95 years old, so that's cool.
So talking about all these kids growing up, have you been aware of all the creepy, gross men obsessed with Millie Bobby Brown?
You mean Drake? Yeah, I've heard of him. What is that about, dude?
Well, you tell me.
I mean, I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 21 or whatever now.
No, she turned 18 this year.
She's only 18 now?
She's the youngest of them, yeah.
Oh, I've been making that Drake joke for way too many years.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. The guy sits courtside at NBA games. You'd think maybe he just would put that one to the side, keep it under wraps. I understand being friends, but it's Creepville, USA, man.
Well, it's not just people like that, but like I was seeing Reddit threads and shit of people like years ago when Millie Bobby Brown, who by the way plays 11 in Stranger Things, and she's in other shit too. She's really kind of taken off as an actress.
For sure.
But when she was like 15 or 16 or even younger, because I think the first season came out when she was like 13 or 14. I don't know, whatever. She was young.
Yeah, she was really young.
But they were countdown threads about, oh God, only 4 more years until Millie Bobby Brown is legal. And I'm like,
Ew. Oh, God.
That's really walking the line of like pedo stuff.
It's really rough. And to say it out loud on a message board where everything is kept forever.
Right.
You're really just not a smart lad.
We all think weird shit all the time, but we learn to keep it to ourselves.
Bottle that
Right?
stuff deep down.
Yeah, like you with the mayonnaise and dark chocolate. Like,
Right.
just,
No, you let that out because it's genius and it's smart.
no.
But I understand your point.
Yeah, well, it's like people need better self-control on the fucking internet.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Hot take on the Tennis Pod.
A hot take.
The internet doesn't have enough self-control. You heard it here first.
Who did have self-control is the Duffer Brothers, the makers of Stranger Things. The series has been critically acclaimed, obviously, and it spawned a full franchise of toys, games, comics, merch. I mean, the show is really blowing up.
For sure.
There's a whole universe, basically.
It felt like it was created perfectly to sell. Just everything. Just sell
Yes.
and be popular. And also is good. That's a hard combo, kind of.
There's like a lore and legend around Stranger Things.
Yeah,
now.
I could see there being spin-offs and stuff like that. I think this is going to last
There
a
is
while.
a spin-off
probably.
planned.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the Duffer Brothers. And a 5th season, which is the final season, is
Yeah.
also planned
Nice.
on Netflix.
Looking forward to it.
So since we're talking about Stranger Things, I'll tell you that Stranger Things Season 3 is number 7.
Wow.
582 million hours watched, which is less than half of Season 4. And that fascinates me because wouldn't you think it'd go in reverse? People drop off as the show progresses?
Yes, but also there seemed to be, to me, so much more of a marketing push around season 4 than any of the ones before it. It felt like they dumped dollars into making sure there were commercials and social media stuff everywhere. The songs, like we talked about, were everywhere. It really felt like they really tried to push it as hard as possible, even though they didn't need to. So,
But I want to know who is watching Season 4 of Stranger Things but didn't watch Season 1, 2, or 3?
right, yeah, that is
You know?
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people are probably like watching clips on YouTube to get caught up or something, but
Yeah.
still weird.
It is weird. That is very
Would
weird.
you ever do that? Would you ever start a show
Never.
halfway through?
Never. I always start from the beginning. Even if I like find a new band or something, I go back to their first album. Like it's hard for me to not see it from the beginning. So yeah, I don't relate to those people,
Yeah.
but they probably like mayonnaise. So, you know, I'm not worried about it.
Enough mayonnaise disparagement
You
on this
started it.
show. And look, by the way, I'm not some advocate for mayonnaise. I'm not standing up for mayonnaise. I just think you were being unfairly critical to an otherwise like okay food.
I will continue to be. I'll make at least one more mayo joke. I apologize in advance.
All right.
it's tough.
Somebody got a line to Brandon. Is he coming back yet?
When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could do the same thing with your business team? If you're building a roster to win the league, you need Indeed. Hate waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Something I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring super easy, like their instant match. Indeed does the hard work for you. Sponsor a job and boom. Instant Match shows you candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after you post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. Indeed knows that when you're doing everything for your company, you can't afford to overspend on hiring. Visit Indeed.com/Blue Wire to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Ooh, you know what that means. That's the sound of a business making another sale on Shopify, the one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify makes it simple for anyone to sell anywhere, from creating your store in your look to finding new customers to scaling your idea anywhere your future holds. With Shopify, you can do it all from one place with no need for skills in design or code. It's how every minute of every day, something amazing happens. A new seller makes their first sale with Shopify, and you can too. I love how Shopify makes starting your own business possible for anyone, including me. Now it's your turn to start selling today with Shopify for free. Go to shopify.com/BlueWire, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Start selling on Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/BlueWire right now. Shopify.com/BlueWire.
It's Nick here with a brief interruption to remind you that I care about you. I care about your health. And even more importantly, I care about my health. And our next sponsor has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I do care about my health, but I don't have time to care about my health. I'll bet a lot of you can relate. But AG1 makes it easy. I've been on it for the last several weeks, and I love it. It doesn't taste super healthy, but it has a kind of mild tropical taste that I actually look forward to every morning that I take it. So what is this stuff? With just one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Yes, adaptogens, to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, podcast listening, all the things. I'm not a big coffee drinker. AG1 gives me energy every morning. It's how I start my day. It also helps support my mental clarity and alertness, so I can get through these long recording sessions for you. And you know what else? It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. But don't take my word for it, even though I know you will. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. But let's get to the good stuff. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/emerging. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/emerging. EMERGING. Go there to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. You can also check the link in the show notes for this episode. Now take a good swig of that AG1 because it's time to get back to the show. Okay, so you had Stranger Things Season 3 at 7 and Season 4 at 2.
2 birds, 1 guess.
Yep.
Okay, I really want to nail number 1. I'm between 2 different things. It's hard.
That's what she said.
Yep, she said it. I'm going to go with Squid Game number 1. It's got to be on the list.
Well, before I answer that, what's the other one you were considering?
The other one is Ozark, which is also pretty recent and after Squid Game, so I think there's a chance that that got more viewers just by default because it's later, but those are the 2 in between.
Yeah. Well, those are both good guesses. Only one is number 1, and that is Squid Game,
All
Season
right.
1. Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on Squid Game, but before I do, I'll tell the folks at home that the Season 1, it's the only season out right now, is number 1, the most watched Netflix series of all time. And that's notable because, A, it's a South Korean show. It's not even in the English language. And it came out of nowhere. No one was expecting this to be this major hit, at least not in the United States. Lo and behold, it's been watched 1.7 billion hours watched, which is compared to number 2, Stranger Things had 1.3 billion. This is 1.7.
And also only a single season. Stranger Things had something to build off of, so it's kind of more impressive, I think.
Yeah. The series revolves around a contest where 456 players, all of whom are in deep financial debt, risk their lives to play a series of deadly children's games for the chance to win a 45.6 billion won prize, which comes out to about just under $4 million US.
By the way, not that much. Maybe they should have increased that number.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I'm not going to die for 4 milli. You put a B on that,
4 million.
I'm okay.
You can't win 4 billy because you can never spend that, and it's going to raise all kinds of questions.
You're
You
right.
have that much money out of nowhere.
You're right. I've never been to South Korea. I don't know how it works.
Have you been to Squid Game Town and watched this show?
I have watched the show. I really like a lot of Korean film and TV.
Me too.
Really have a lot of good stuff. We don't need to go down the list, but there is a ton of it.
There's another one on this list.
Really? Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay, I'll have to think about that. I haven't looked at giant little girl dolls with machine guns the same since watching this show. That's for sure.
Right. Same.
I think that was episode 1 or 2.
That was episode 1. And honestly, I think that's the best game.
It really hooked you. I think that was part of the reason their episode 1 was so strong that everyone needed to binge it immediately. It also, like, no show that I have probably ever seen was as much of a quick, like, immediately viral. Everyone watched it at one time, all at the same time, and then everyone had already watched it. It's not like, I'm sure people are still watching it now for the first time, but everyone was kind of aligned. Maybe it's because it was tail end of the pandemic. People were still kind of searching for that thing to do. I don't know what it was, but it felt like a perfect storm of like every single person was watching the same thing at the same time, which I loved.
So about like the memes and stuff you're talking about. Netflix claimed that Squid Game had pierced the cultural zeitgeist and became a popular internet meme with over 42 billion views of internet videos related to Squid Game in the first month.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about.
Is
like
that more or less than the Link videos get?
Well, you know, I don't like to brag, but I mean, you know, you asked. I guess this was intentional, or do you think they just stumbled into a thing that was amazing? Did they write the show knowing, well, this is going to go viral?
No.
I don't know if you can. You can't. But it does, in hindsight, it's so obvious. Like the episode to episode, different game every time, contest, people getting eliminated. It's like a reality show, but fiction.
Right. I was going to say the same thing. It kind of gives you the feeling you get watching a reality show, but the stakes are so much higher because there's people dying. I mean, fictionally, of course, but although I would watch a reality show where people do actually die, I guess that would just be the Hunger Games.
This is sad, but it's not that crazy to imagine a world, even in 100 years from now, where they're just like, let's just do Squid Game for real and see how much money we can make.
100 years, I think, is being generous. I think like 25 to 50. And I could see it because it's like they just do it and they don't force anybody into it. It's a choice to be on the show, right? So like I think they could legally like justify it.
Oh, man. I mean, it's too dark. We're getting too dark. We've only guessed 3 things so far. And I already had to talk about mayonnaise. I mean, I can't get any darker than this.
That was your one allotment of mayonnaise.
I'm not going to say it again.
You said one.
I'm not going to say it again.
Okay. We'll see about that. The title of the series, Squid Game, draws from a similarly named Korean children's game. The creator, I don't have his first name, but last name is Hwang, had conceived of the idea based on his own economic struggles early in life, as well as the class disparity in South Korea and capitalism. I want to talk a little bit more about the kind of internet cultural phenomenon that we were just talking about. There's an actress, Ho Yeon-jung. I'm not Korean, but...
It was great.
Yeah, thank you. She plays the main female character in the show. You could probably picture her in your head. I don't remember her character's name, but main female character. When the show started, she had 400,000 followers on social, and in 3 weeks, she had 13 million.
Whoa. Talk about, I mean, just everything about it was just like made in a lab to go viral. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it was, again, same thing as Stranger Things. Like, it was also good.
Right. And how many of those 13 million followers do you think are Drake and his burner accounts?
I'm going to say actual real guess 8, which is like 7 too many. You know what I mean?
8 too many.
Well, yeah.
Not 8. Okay, he can have one. You're right.
Yeah, he can have one. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
He should bring all 8 of those accounts to follow at the @link_podcast, and then I'll forgive it.
Same. I'll co-sign that.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you about the economic impact this show had.
Please.
So the show was released in October, right? Within the same month, so less than 4 weeks, Netflix estimated that Squid Game had generated nearly $900 million in value, although it cost only $21 million to produce. So they made $900 million in the first month.
That's crazy because, I don't know, I'm trying to think back now. The set was so cool. Like the stairs that go like vertical, almost like Harry Potter-esque in a weird way, was like, for some reason I thought it was a bigger budget than that, which is great.
21 million's no small potatoes.
You're
but
right.
You're right. It's not like a blockbuster budget. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, which is surprising. And I bet if they bring it back, I don't know, are there plans to bring it back? I don't know if you have this in your notes. I'm putting you on the spot.
There's a second season, and I actually forgot this when we were talking reality shows a minute ago, but there's a reality show being developed by Netflix, like a non-death version of the game, hopefully.
Sure.
456 players competing for a large cash prize.
Wow.
And I'll watch that.
Totally, yeah, agree.
Yeah.
It'll be so much less interesting, though. You'll tune in, you'll be excited, and then you're like, yeah, just give me season 2.
There's no one dying here.
Yeah, what's the point?
So you got number 1, Squid Game, but you mentioned Ozark. Do you want to talk about Ozark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Ozark. This isn't breaking news or anything, but a lot of people compare it to Breaking Bad for, I guess, pretty obvious reasons. It's like Breaking Bad if Breaking Bad had just a blue tint on it constantly.
Yeah, but also, like, if you hadn't watched either shows and you just heard the premise of both, like, you'd think, oh, they sound alike.
For sure, but shows. I feel bad because Ozark is different and can stand on its own 2 feet, and it sucks for Jason Bateman that he has to be compared to Bryan Cranston because they're both awesome, in my opinion. I like them both. But it's just an unfair comparison for anyone. And the funny thing is, there is like a real comparison between the two because they both have done comedy, they both do drama, they both do intensity. And, you know, not to ignore the rest of the cast in both shows, but it's like that parallel is going to be forever probably. And since Ozark came second, they're just always going to be little brother or sister.
I watched season 1 of Ozark and I enjoyed it, but it didn't hook me enough to like make it a priority to watch the second season.
Really?
And then I kind of, since I didn't watch the second season, now I'm behind. So like I probably will finish it someday, but I've only seen the first season right now.
Wow. The good thing about Ozark, they didn't stay too long. There weren't that many seasons. 4. It's hard for me to imagine shows anymore going 10 plus. Like Always Sunny is an anomaly.
Yeah.
That it continues to be great. But most of the time by season 4 of something, Shameless was a good example. I really loved that show. And it just got so bad. So anyway. Yeah, I liked Ozark, man. It ended pretty good. They wrapped up everything as much as you could have them do it. And it was just one of those pedal to the metal shows where, like, you can't ever slow down. So it's climb. And then you have to have a good payoff. So it's hard to do, but they pulled it off.
And I remember feeling, like, stressed watching the show because there's, like, it's always moving. You're never, like, sitting still.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about it's only 4 seasons, which I think is a lesson other shows could take. I know Netflix kind of has a bad rap these days for canceling good shows like after 1 or 2 seasons, which is a valid thing. But like a 4 season got to finish its story. I think it's a good kind of case study of how to do it.
What was the show with? I don't know if you're going to know. Your audience might know because they're really smart. Cool.
Are they?
The one with Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, cannibalism, right?
Yes. Santa Clarita Diet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I liked that show, and that was one of the ones that got canceled, and it was silly. And
well, another one is Mindhunter, which was one of my favorite shows, and it did 2, maybe 3, I think just 2 seasons.
I didn't watch that show. I know it's really popular. I thought about guessing it, but now that you've said it, I know it's not on the list, so...
Whoops.
Great.
Oh, well, I actually never said it wasn't on the list.
I know, but I know how this game works, yeah. I never watched it. People love murder, man. It's not my bag.
Weird, right?
I know, isn't it weird?
Murder's just this complex thing. I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but here we are.
Well, that's our thing.
It's like we love to watch it. We love to know about it, read about it, see about it, learn about it, but we can't do it, and we would never consider doing it unless you're one of the.
You think that's why?
Well, I don't know why. Yeah.
No. Do you think it's like that's why people are interested in it because it's a thing they can't ever possibly do?
Partly, yeah.
You always want the thing you can't have. You know what I mean? Not that anyone wants to murder people. Some people probably do. But
you probably want to murder that guy, the actor in Stranger Things
who created
that was
mayonnaise.
35.
Fuck. I said it again. I know.
All right.
You know
show's
what?
over.
Bleep it. Bleep it.
Done. Heard enough of that shit.
All right.
I never told you what number Ozark was, which is number 13, season 4, the final season.
Number 13.
13, yeah. So it's technically So this list is weird because it's not in the top 10, but it is because when you're looking at, because there's duplicates on here like Stranger Things.
Oh, so you're not counting the duplicates.
Right.
Ah.
So there are 10 shows we're talking about, but as for its ranking, it's 13.
So I didn't actually get 2 on Stranger Things.
No.
Okay. Well, I was feeling good. All right, we're going to have to work for it.
Do that. I explicitly told you at the beginning, do not feel good about yourself now or ever. You're not going to feel good coming out of it.
You did warn me, and I ignored it, and it was a mistake.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Ozark, I guess we kind of talked about it already. I'll just say that it's won a bunch of awards, 32 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. It's been watched 491 million hours, season 4 was. It's about Jason Bateman stars with Lori Lenny, a married couple who move their family to the Lake of Ozarks for money laundering. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Mike, how many times have you relocated your family for money laundering?
Same exact number of burner accounts that Drake has. 8.
8. Well, that's 8 burner accounts that are following what's her name, but not. He has many more than that, I think.
I am so mad that I screwed up the joke.
Yeah.
It's really tough, but this is the vulnerable side of me. The audience needs to know this. You know, you really want to nail the joke. It's like when you send a text message that's perfect. You know they're going to laugh, but there's one single typo, and then you're like, well, do I correct it? Because then it's not funny.
I hate that.
You're already done.
It's like that with tweets, too, right?
At least you could delete the tweet.
Well, yeah, but do you want to delete it once it already has like a bunch of retweets and shit?
Oh, you can't. No, you can't. You just got to own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet has done a lot of good and a lot of bad in the world. I'd say mostly good, all things considered. But one thing it has not done is made us better at spelling and grammar.
No. Oh, smartphones have kind of ruined that. I've noticed my handwriting getting worse and worse every year also, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, I honestly, other than like writing my signature on a paper, I don't think I've handwritten anything in like 5 years.
Good
like,
for
seriously.
you. I have to write Post-its to remind myself to do things like I'm in the movie Memento. But, you know, again, now I'm really putting myself down. Usually I'm just building it up. I got to get back to the confidence. I got to talk about how much I hate more. I really think so. That's twice. I get it. No. Bleep it.
This whole episode is just going to be me talking to one giant bleep at this point.
You're going to send it to me to edit because I'm forcing you to do too many edits. All right. Anyway.
Hey, I'll take you up on that. Quick recap, man. We got 13 Ozark, 7 Stranger Things Season 3, 2 Stranger Things Season 4, and 1 Squid Game Season 1.
Okay. Next one I'm going to go with, which is a show I liked in the beginning and then overstayed its welcome a little bit, Orange is the New Black.
No.
Really?
I thought Orange is the New Black. No, it's a good guess. I would have guessed it too. And I felt the same way. I watched the first like 2 seasons and liked it, and then it lost its way, and I never went back, but not in the top 10.
I'm shocked. That was like a cultural phenomenon too. Okay, wow.
Well, and you have to remember that when Orange is the New Black was coming out, Netflix has grown like, I don't know how many tens of millions of subscribers, so it's kind of not fair to compare those older shows to the newer ones.
Oh man, I guess you're right. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I had 2 guesses lined up, but both of them are from the same era, so if that one wasn't on it, I wonder if this one isn't either, but it was really popular. House of Cards?
House of Cards is the first Netflix original. Did you know that?
I didn't actually. Wow, that's cool.
It was the first Netflix original series, and it was also the first time ever on any platform, any streaming platform, that an entire season was released at once.
Wow.
You could watch all episodes on the first day. Because prior to that, and some of the youngins listening might not remember these days, but anytime a show was coming out, you had to wait a week between episodes.
Can I give you a hot take? First of all, there's a Kevin Spacey joke hidden in here, although it's probably hidden in like a 17-year-old boy's pants, so I'm not going to be the one to go find it.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Well, you know.
No, I like it. I dig it.
It's another one that rocked in the beginning, but then got bad.
Well, part of the reason it got bad is because they lost the main character.
It got bad before that, I honestly think. The first couple of seasons were really, really elite. I wonder if this is why Netflix started canceling things, because they realized that like some of the shows got bad later, which is kind of fair.
Yeah, but wouldn't you, instead of canceling a show, how about just saying, okay, we're only renewing for 1 more season so you can tie up all the loose ends and close the story.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Or even just 1 more episode. Like just do like a 90-minute, like I don't know, like it's shitty to get people to invest a lot of watching a show and getting invested in it is hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Not just that you're watching it, but also that you're thinking about it or talking about it. And to just pull the rug out and just not give a conclusion to the story, shitty.
It is. Wait, is this on the list?
Wait, what are we talking about? House of Cards?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, come on. I knew it might not be because it's too old, yeah.
Let me give you another old one that I was surprised was not, because this was the first one I can really remember being taken off as a phenomenon, and that's Making a Murderer. Don't you remember that when that came out, like everyone was talking about it?
Not a murder guy.
No.
I know. I didn't watch that one. I honestly didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
No, I was knee deep in murder during that time.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really popular one. I skipped it. But yeah, I don't know. I can't do the murder. There's just so much of it.
Well, surely there's murder in some of these other shows we're going to talk about.
That's true.
Like Squid Game. Hello, what the fuck, Mike?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But there's money on the line. It's different.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk murder then for a minute. There's a show on here, number 9, only one season so far, and there's a lot of murder.
Oh,
but not
geez.
by regular everyday people.
Really? This is not my strong suit. I watch so much TV, though. I'm so embarrassed.
This is the other Korean show.
I don't know. What is this other Korean one?
All of Us Are Dead.
Oh, I'd never seen it. Have you?
Oh, and also the show is called All of Us Are Dead.
Ah, good.
There's a joke.
Aha.
It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it.
I've not seen it, but I want to see it now because I didn't really know about it before I did this research. But All of Us Are Dead, season 1 is number 9. It came out this year, 2022, 561 million hours watched. It's about a high school in South Korea that is experiencing a zombie apocalypse. It's based on there's a webtoon, I guess, that this was inspired by. Now at Our School by Ju Dong-jun.
Your pronunciations are excellent.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I know. And the last note is it's been renewed for a second season, so there's more coming. There's another zombie show that's not on here called Black Summer that I don't really hear people talk about. I think it's kind of not as big of a hit as these, obviously, but I recommend it to anyone that's into that stuff. And you watched Walking Dead.
Yeah, I know. I'm not against zombie shows. Honestly, this one got past me. I have a long list of TV. It's hard to keep up in. There's so many streaming services. There's so many things. It's tough.
That's what I tell people is like, there's so many shows I want to watch. New and old. Like, I just watched The Sopranos this year for the first time.
Really?
I've been meaning to watch that forever.
Rest in peace, Paulie Walnuts. Tough.
I know.
Yeah.
I finished, like, before that happened, so I could appreciate that more.
Yeah.
But, like, there's old shows I want to watch. There's new shows I want to watch. There's old new shows, I want to watch. And there's so many streaming platforms. It's hard.
It's hard. Really hard. It is really hard. That one got past me, but now I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was number 9. Give me another guess.
I'm going to guess a thing that I loved. I'm pretty sure it's not on here, and we don't have to go on forever about it, but it's a highly recommended show for me. BoJack Horseman?
No Jack Horseman.
Nice.
More like it.
Good stuff. It's about a talking horse. It's animated. A lot of puns, a lot of animal puns. The people out there will love it. We can move on. It's not there.
Okay.
All right. Okay. How about Umbrella Academy?
Great guess, but no.
God, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassing myself. This is
okay,
tough.
Do you need some hints? Or do you want to keep embarrassing yourself for a while first?
I want to keep embarrassing myself quickly. I'll move quickly. This is a show that I haven't watched, but someone told me it's basically softcore porno, which I had no idea. But
oh, baby.
Bridgerton?
It's funny you say that about the porno because I only have a few notes on Bridgerton and one of them is sex related.
Amazing.
Bridgerton is on here twice.
Oh, we got one.
Well, you got 2.
I should have went to the porn earlier.
Oh, yeah. Always start with porn. Start your conversations with porn. Start your day with porn. Start your meal with porn. Start your list guessing with porn. Soft porn. Said somebody. This is not advice from me, by the way. I'm just relaying advice.
I'm going to have to go back to my episode that we did on the Link podcast and just edit in a start with porn. Both the cold opens are just going to have to be porn. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no, we'll edit in some porn to start the show on both. I am totally in favor.
At least some funky music,
Yeah. Brown chicken, brown cow.
I like that.
Right?
I like that. That was your best joke so far. Well played.
Really, that?
Yeah, golf clap.
Have you listened to the show?
In this episode.
Oh, this episode. Okay. Yeah. Even then, I don't know.
Pretty good.
Okay, I thought No Jack Horseman was pretty good, but
I did too. I liked that one too. You're on a roll.
So are you with your guessing, because Bridgerton Season 1 is number 5 with 626 million hours watched. Bridgerton Season 2 is number 4 with 656 million hours watched. Lots of hours watched. Bridgerton, I have not watched it. You haven't either, but it is extremely popular, and it's an influential show. I'll get to that. It's set against the backdrop of the Regency era, where the 8 close-knit siblings of the noble and powerful Bridgerton family navigate London high society in search of love, surrounded by friends and rivals alike. And apparently they're fucking all the time.
I was going to say, it's not close-knit. Their pants? I don't know.
No. Stop.
I lost it. I was almost there.
Close-knit was like 40 words ago. I had to remind myself what you were even talking about.
Yeah, well, you don't win them all,
Maybe I'll edit it to where you say it sooner.
Perfect. Just stop your sentence halfway. That's good stuff.
All right, I'll play it again right now. Where the 8 close-knit siblings...
It's not close-knit. Their pants? Close-knit.
Yeah. The series as a whole gave the romance genre its own cinematic universe with the female gaze front and center, according to Slate, the magazine. So this is the sex note I had. And I haven't seen the show. Don't know if this criticism is fair or unfair. It just stood out, and I thought it was interesting, so I'm going to read it. The first season's 6th episode drew criticism with regard to the non-consensual nature of a sex scene between Simon and Daphne, which amounted to marital rape.
Whoa!
The episode depicts Daphne, while having sex with Simon, changing her position to be on top, not letting Simon pull out of her when he climaxes despite his objections. It further drew scrutiny due to the fact that the deceit was never addressed as sexual assault in the series. Critics pointed out that it failed to acknowledge the difficulties of male victims of rape and the further fetishization of black men in media, because apparently the man is black. So, probably don't have any hot takes you want to share on that, because neither of us have seen it, but something, right?
Well,
interesting. You don't hear much criticism about men in rape scenes not getting their due.
Yeah, you never hear about men raping anybody.
Well, it's always the other way around, is my point.
One funny thing is that the last episode I did on your podcast was a sports one, and we also talked about rape at least once.
It comes up in every episode.
So, go back to that one. It's a great time. Good old time.
I would not be surprised if mayonnaise has also come up pretty much every episode, and I just forget.
It should, and you should disparage it constantly, just to make sure the people know.
Mayonnaise enhances the taste of a burger or a turkey sandwich.
Oh my God. Can we just continue guessing before I throw up?
I have one more note for you on Bridgerton.
Let it rip.
It says that after season 2 featured the main characters playing Pall Mall, which is a lawn game considered to be the precursor to croquet.
Like the cigarettes?
Oh yeah, there are cigarettes called Pall Malls. You're right.
I'm a cool guy.
Yeah. Retailers reported a 90% increase in the rise of sales of croquet sets.
Wow.
So people love the sexy sex in Bridgerton and all the fetishization of black men in the show, and also croquet.
Have you ever played croquet?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
How was it?
Well, my family used to have a croquet set growing up, and I played every once in a while. It was fun.
I had a potato croquette once from a pizzeria. Those are good.
The fuck? What did you say? A potato what?
The people know. I'm not going to repeat it. There's at least 3 listeners who are like, yeah, those are pretty good.
A potato
croquette. It's close.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, look, you work in a pizzeria in high school. You understand all these things. Someone out there relates to what I just said.
Yeah. No, I like pizza, and you're saying words.
That's
true.
So
maybe someone will relate.
Can't deny that.
All right, that was Bridgerton. It's coming. More seasons are coming, and a spin-off series. So if people are wanting more, they got it.
Okay.
If you are a professional looking at the European startup scene, Germany is a place you cannot miss. Fortunately for you, there is startuprad.io, the authority on German startups. This English-only podcast brings you fresh interviews each week. Most likely, you have never heard or read anything on these startups before in English, but you will in the future. Be ahead of the curve and subscribe to startuprad.io podcast, or check for the startuprad.io internet radio station. Check your Alexa for the startuprad.io skill as well.
were forced to choose only one of these characters, who would you choose? Dwight Schrute or Michael Scott? What about Jim Halpert or Andy Bernard? We're making you choose, because on our new bonus episode, I competed in a draft of The Office. That's right, The Office. My real-life friend and Office superfan, Kent, he battled me in choosing our essential characters for an ideal Office reunion episode. Now we need you to listen and vote on whose reunion episode would be better. Listen to the Office draft now at tennispod.com/plus. That's tennispod.com/PLUS. When you sign up to listen to this episode, you'll also unlock instant access to almost 50 other bonus episodes with more added every month. Just go to tennispod.com/plus. You can check the show notes too for a direct link. Or if you're an Apple Podcast listener, just tap the subscribe button at the top of our page on Apple. You can also get a 7-day free trial on Apple or save on an annual membership. Now go, because you're really going to want this in your ears. That's what she said.
What else? I'm going to go with... This is a show I didn't really love.
Tennis?
But I know it was popular, but now I'm wondering if it's too old. Black Mirror?
Oh, what the fuck? Why is Black Mirror not on here?
Right.
I love Black Mirror, and you're right, it's not on here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Honestly, I didn't watch all of Black Mirror. I know it's cool, and honestly, I was an old Twilight Zone guy, but now the real world just seems like it's basically an episode of Black Mirror, so it's a little less like, whoa, and more like, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
All
It
right.
is good. And there's more coming, so I'm excited about that. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
it is not on here.
Okay, how about The Crown?
Oh yeah, man, these are some good guesses. I'm like, I forgot about that show, but everyone talks
I
about
watch
The Crown.
good TV. I feel like it's loaded against me. You got loaded dice over here.
The Crown is not on here. You know what else isn't on here? The Queen's Gambit.
Good show.
Yeah, I love that show.
Who doesn't like chess? Maybe you're trying to pull you ready for this? A stalemate on me during this episode. Well, he just left, folks. He's gone. He gone. That's tough. I thought it was fun.
Oh, I will suffer through this for the listeners.
I'm having good guesses. I stand by this. The people will know.
Your guesses aren't bad. I'll give you that.
Yeah. All right.
Well, while you're thinking of another guess, I have a few more notes on Netflix as a company.
Mm-hmm.
During the 2010s, Netflix was the top performing stock on the stock market. It had a total return of almost 3,700%, which just goes to show like the insane amount of growth Netflix had
Jeez,
in a short amount of time.
They did.
Much like my wiener.
Hey. All right.
It is going the other way, but they'll bounce back.
They will.
I don't think it's a long...
I believe. My money's not gone. It's not gone.
And yeah, we already talked about like all the criticisms they're facing right now for targeting password sharing. They lost subscribers for the first time ever in a quarter last year. So things are not going as great as they once were at Netflix, but they'll figure it out.
Coming back. Okay. I have a guess. There's been a bunch of foreign ones on this list.
Yep.
I can think of two more. I mean, I don't know if they're really foreign, but they're semi-foreign. First one is Narcos.
Another excellent guess. I watched Narcos and loved it, but it is not on here.
Damn. Reminds me of Nachos when I see it written out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and they're both Mexican, so I think that's got to count for something, right?
They're actually Colombian, fucking asshole.
Was that a different season? There was a Mexican Narcos season.
Oh, you're right, actually.
All right, see? I am a fucking asshole, but I'm not culturally inappropriate. Never say that.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah. All right. I'm really striking out here. I have another foreign one that I think might be on there. Have you ever seen Dark, the German show?
No. I have not seen it, and it's also not on the list.
It's a good one. Child's disappearance.
Is it German language?
Yes. Netflix has subtitles for that one. I think they also have dubs, maybe, but I'm not a dub guy.
I saw well, wait a minute. What's the difference? A dub is
when they're doing someone in a voice
dub
booth
is their
somewhere does
English
English
voice,
over it. Yeah, but it doesn't match up, so I don't really love that. I'd rather watch with subtitles.
like the old Godzilla movies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And I think Squid Game had that option, right?
Yes, which I wouldn't take. I would rather watch it in the original
I did subtitles.
thing. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, and I saw a thing, like a report recently, a study that said like Americans are more willing to watch foreign shit than ever before, and also more willing to read subtitles than ever before.
That's cool.
Just because the way we consume TV, it's changing.
Look at us learning to read. It's good stuff.
For all the incorrect your usage on Twitter, we can at least...
Oh, God. It bothers me.
appreciate-
I always want to be the guy that's like, it's the wrong one, but then you're the douche that says it, and it's tough.
Hey, I'm perfectly fine being that douche.
Well, someone's got to be. Okay, I got to get something right. How many more do we have?
I'm looking.
A lot.
One,
Probably a lot.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. I'm going to go with The Witcher.
The Witcher. Yes, sir. You got one.
Yes, we got there. Henry Cavill, Superman to the rescue.
Everyone come back. He got one.
He's here. He's back.
Did you watch this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've not.
Played the video games, too. Witcher 3, great video game. And Henry Cavill, awesome in this role. Like, really, really good. He is also a video game nerd. So he brings a lot of, like, lore to the table. He knows the character really well. It's a good show.
The game was based on something else, a book series.
Yes.
But the show, like the look and feel of the show, was based on the video game.
Yeah, a little bit of both. But yes, it seems very closely tied to The Witcher 3, which is a good video game that people should check out if you're into that. Geralt of Rivia and Superman are two, like, real... I mean, Henry Cavill, I'm a huge fan. Guy's just handsome like me, mostly.
Oh, yeah. Fucking, like, the best looking man I've ever seen, like, objectively.
And I said handsome like me, and you said yeah, so I just want people to understand that you agreed. You agreed, and there's no turning back.
Hey, I gotta let my guests feel a little comfortable here. I gotta lure you into a...
Yeah, after 90 wrong guesses in a row, finally, you're throwing me a bone.
Was it only 90? It seemed like so many more than that.
Same amount of burner accounts that Drake has, or whatever the people say. Oh, man. Okay.
Drake.
Drake.
Well, from Drake to Henry Cavill, season 2 of The Witcher is number 14.
Oh, jeez.
Season 1 of The Witcher is number 10.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm running out of guesses here. I really am.
I got hints ready for you when you're ready.
There's one more that I can guess that I watched recently. I can't imagine it's on here, but it is a good show. Russian Doll?
No.
No, I didn't think so. But
did you want to give a real guess, or did you want to do another half-ass fucking pathetic guess?
That is a good show. Have you ever seen the movie Groundhog's Day?
Of course.
It's exactly like that, but modern day and just much more modern and quick half-hour episodes. Also, Natasha Lyonne was in Orange is the New Black, which I also guessed, which I think should have been on this list. It's a bullshit list, but we're moving on.
It's not, these lists is based on facts, Mike.
Yeah, it's Netflix that I'm blaming. They're cooking the books. They're juicing the numbers so I get them wrong.
Netflix.
There's a conspiracy here, folks.
So the top executives at Netflix, all of whom are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, are cooking the books to make sure that Mike Szego of the Link podcast gets his guesses wrong on Tennis podcast about... Okay.
You think they don't listen to Tennis podcast? They do. You know they do.
I know they do, but I'm surprised they'd cook the books just for that.
Well, they want the content just like the people do.
All kinds of shit can happen from that. Don't cook the books.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
Give me a hint.
All right. Teenagers.
Okay. I have a guess, and it's going to be really embarrassing if it's wrong because I have watched this show, and I really wish I didn't have to admit that I've watched this show, but now I have to. We're on the air. We're live, baby.
Okay.
Outer Banks?
No, not Outer Banks. So you just admitted that for nothing.
Oh, you hate to see it so much. But, you know, I am who I am. What are you going to do?
No, this is a show that might... Suicide.
Oh, 13 Reasons Why?
13 Reasons Why.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's on there because it is from the era of... I mean, it's not that old, but it's more towards like Orange is the New Black era than new stuff.
Yes.
It has aged gracefully, I guess.
Well, critically, no. Season 2 of 13 Reasons Why is number 12 on the list. And it came out in 2018, which is, you know, in this modern technological age, 4 years ago is a pretty long time.
It is kind of, yeah.
But it's number 12, 496 million hours watched. But I wanted to call out that it has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score on the entire list. So everything we've talked about...
I tried that show. I didn't really like it. It wasn't for me.
I watched season 1, thought it was okay.
Same.
But I did not come back for season 2.
Same, which doesn't say a whole lot.
But every show we've talked about so far, I think the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score, which is like a critic approval rating, the lowest one was like 80%. This one is 28%.
Oh, God. Really? That bad?
Yeah. And season 1 of the same show had 77%. So it's low compared to its own season 1 as well.
So what you're saying is we're really smart for not going back to season 2.
Yeah.
Can't argue that.
And also just really smart, period, as well.
Good point. Exclamation point.
Not smart about periods.
Well,
That I'm not smart about.
No, yeah, you're right. Yep, no. Can't do it.
We could talk about it if you want.
We
but
could.
I don't know much about it. Let's not.
There was a joke I was going to make, but it's not worth it, you know? It was going to bomb.
Life wasn't worth it for student Hannah Baker, who kills herself in this show. Spoiler alert. All she does.
On the level of No Jack Horseman. Good stuff.
Before her death in the show, Hannah Baker leaves behind a box of cassette tapes in which she details the 13 reasons why she chose to end her life. So it's based on a 2007 novel by Jay Asher. Selena Gomez, listener of the show, she was originally cast to play Hannah, the main character in the show, but she instead served as the show's executive producer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, now you know. That's why you listen.
Do you watch Only Murders in the Building?
No, I've heard good things, though.
Yeah, not a Netflix show, but she is in it. It's good stuff. People should watch.
Yeah, Hulu, right?
Yeah. Martin Short, Steve Martin.
Hulu's been stepping it up lately.
Really good. Yeah, Hulu's pretty good. Yeah.
The 13 Reasons Why, here's some of the critic consensus of why Season 2 didn't work. By deviating from its source material, 13 Reasons Why can better explore its tenderly crafted characters. Unfortunately, in the process, it loses track of what made the show so gripping in the first place.
Interesting.
Now, this stat is very interesting and sad. The show's about a character committing suicide. But the release of the show caused public concern about the risk of suicide contagion among teenagers, particularly in those who have suicidal thoughts. The portrayal of sensitive content such as teen suicide, self-harm, rape, there's rape again, and bullying raised criticism, especially for its graphic content. After the series' release, a study published by the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry found that the suicide among teenagers rose by 29% in the month after the show released on Netflix.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because if you want to have a heavy subject matter, is it fair to criticize for that?
Don't know.
I mean, obviously you don't want kids committing suicide. No one does, but I don't know.
I don't know where you draw the line on that.
Yeah, it's tough. We could go off on a tangent for this forever, but
I think it's entertainment and media should not be restricted because of sensitive subjects.
I agree, but the problem is that young teenagers like that show probably don't have the same life experience that we have to talk about it this way. So maybe they don't.
No, you're right.
Have the same.
But that's why they shouldn't be watching it. But I know you can only control that so much, right? So I get that, but so I don't know what the answer is, but
I wonder if that's why it fell off for season 2, because people heard all those articles and the media storm that happened. I remember that happening.
Yeah.
Where people were like, this probably isn't a good thing. I don't know if that's why I didn't go back. I thought it just wasn't very good, but what are you going to do? People have 13 reasons why they didn't go back for season 2. Nailed it! Nailed it!
Didn't I already make that joke? I feel like I might have said that already.
If you did, bleep it out.
No, I told you I can't just be talking to you and every time you respond, it's bleep, bleep, bleep.
You could. You should have an episode with a robot who's not actually a robot, but you just put bleeps in every time and then continue the conversation. It'd be hilarious.
It'd be something.
I'll steal that idea for my podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be a good one.
I'm glad it could help you out.
Thanks.
So 13 Reasons Why Season 1, because we just covered Season 2, is just outside the top 10. So is the show You.
Ah.
The show is pretty good, but not must-see, I'd say.
People like stalkers, I guess?
They do, yeah. Well, they like them as long as they're cute and handsome.
Ah, so then I'm good.
Yeah, you and I are good.
All right, thank God.
We're good to go.
All
right, so let me give you, or hint you at number 11. This one came out in 2022, very recently.
Oh, boy.
Inspired by the story of blank and the article in New York titled How Blank Tricked New York's Party People. The article is by Jessica Pressler.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't watch it.
Okay. I don't have a guess for this one.
Inventing
Anna. Yes.
Anna.
Yes, yeah. I didn't watch that either, but prominent actress, right? Who was in that?
I don't remember.
Was that the girl from Ozark? Yes, it was. Julia Garner.
Oh, yeah, right. I recognize her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inventing Anna.
My parents watched it.
Yeah,
My parents watched it. They told me about it. They have been guests on the Link podcast. Great stuff. Go back to that.
They have been. Those are my favorite episodes of the Link,
Really?
are the ones with your parents, yeah.
They're really good, honestly. I do agree. But she's a great actress, so I really should go back and watch that because she's really, really good. I think she's going to blow up.
Me too.
I heard a rumor that she was getting a role. If people are listening to this in the future, then maybe it's already obvious. But as Madonna in a biopic.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, and she kind of has the look, too.
I agree. Although you said she's blowing up, so hopefully she doesn't blow up before that.
Good point.
She won't be alive to be Madonna.
Spontaneous combustion is something that people don't talk enough about. 13 Reasons Why gets canceled, but, how about the shows about spontaneous combustion? Why aren't we talking about that?
Well, how about all the shows that were probably canceled because someone working on the show spontaneously combusted? We just don't hear about it because it's brushed under the rug by the shadow government.
You're right. It's shadow government 100%. The movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Veruca Salt turns into a blueberry and blows up.
This is true.
Or she's about to blow up, but then gets sent down to the department where they deflate her or something by the Oompa Loompas. It's good stuff.
You're saying things that happen in movies at times, yes?
That's true, yeah. Can't deny that.
I don't know why. No
one knows why.
That was said.
13 Reasons Why.
Yeah. Well, also, before I lose this thought, your parents have been on your pod, some of the best episodes of your pod. Mm-hmm. And if my parents are ever on my pod, there's going to be trouble because that means something has gone terribly wrong.
They should, dude. It's fun. It really is fun.
It just can't happen.
Yeah, I hear you.
I can't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
But what can be allowed to happen is Inventing Anna, number 11, 512 million hours watched. It's about a Russian-born Anna Sorokin is able to con members of New York City's upper crust into believing she is a German heiress with access to a substantial fortune.
I have a substantial fortune.
Do you?
Of listeners on the Link podcast.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So do you.
I hope to have that someday, too.
No, you do. You're being modest.
Modesty is my strong suit. I'm very modest. About the show, an AV Club critic said, despite its more evocative performances, Inventing Anna demands patience that doesn't pay off, squandering its promising potential along the way.
Oof. Woof. I have another guess. With no hint.
Oh.
I'm a big stand-up comedy guy.
Okay.
I like Bill Burr. F is for family?
Nope.
No?
Any other wrong guesses? Or did you have
Probably, but I'll need a hint first.
The Devil is my hint. And I'll give you a second hint. Same show. It started not on Netflix. It became a Netflix original later.
So this is a show I haven't watched for no real reason because I think I know it. Lucifer?
Yeah, Lucifer. I haven't watched it either.
I have heard great things about that show. I didn't really think about it because, I guess it is a Netflix original once they take it over, so that's fair.
Yeah. It's season 5 is number 8 of Lucifer. 570 million hours watched. It came out in 2020. It's based on the DC Comics character Lucifer, originally introduced in the comic book series The Sandman, which I think there's a Sandman show now on Netflix too.
Interesting.
The series revolves around the story of Lucifer Morningstar, the DC Universe's version of the Devil, who abandons hell for Los Angeles, where he runs his own nightclub called Lux and becomes a consultant to the LAPD.
There used to be a nightclub literally called Lux in my town, and that is just hilarious. So I'm going to assume that they based it on that.
That's some real good Lux that you had there. That one wasn't good.
Yeah, well, you cheer it on. You put some applause in, maybe.
I appreciate the support of even the bad jokes.
Yeah, you got to try.
Well, trying is what Netflix did because they acquired the show from Fox. Ratings remained consistently low throughout the series' run on Fox, so Fox canceled Lucifer after 3 seasons and Netflix picked it up. But in May 2015, the website 1 Million Moms, I'm sure you're a frequent visitor of 1 Million Moms website.
Of course. We talked about porno before, but yeah.
Sure, of course. 1 million moms in one porno. Oh, man. Too many moms.
Too many moms. Hashtag too many moms. After you listen to this and my episode, just post too many moms and everyone will know.
Too many moms. 1 million of them. They launched a petition to prevent the series from airing because they said the series would glorify Satan as a caring, likable person in human flesh.
The Christians really ruin everything.
What do you have to say about that, you fucking heathen?
You're right. The Christians ruin everything. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People named Christian, not the religion.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be clear, so you do or do not support the damnation of society because of our glorification of Satan?
You said so many big words, but I will say I liked the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves. So there's that.
There's that.
There's that.
very semi on the fringe of being semi-related to the topic at hand.
That's right. That's where I live. Semi on the fringe.
That's where Mike excels.
That's right.
Semi on the fringe. Well, can you be semi on the fringe enough for one more guess? You're down to one. You just need one more. And it is a foreign show.
Oh, God. Can you give me some kind of hint?
It takes place in Spain.
Oh, now I'm going to sound like a racist if I say Narcos again.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen any.
Well, I'll just tell you. It's Money Heist.
You know what? I tried to watch that show, and either... Okay.
Wasn't American enough for you?
No, wrong. Either I couldn't figure out how to get the subtitled version, or they only had the dubbed version at the time, and I couldn't handle watching the dubbed version.
The dubbed version is rough.
I did try to watch it, and I was like, for an intense show like that, where they're obviously doing heists, I was like, this is just too ridiculous. It's like Godzilla, like you said, so I never went back to it. But give me a subtitle version, I'll probably do it.
I have not watched it, but I should. It sounds good. It's about two long-prepared heists led by the professor, one on the Royal Mint of Spain and one on the Bank of Spain, told from the perspective of one of the robbers. By the way, this is season 4 at number 6, and at number 3 is season 5.
Really? That popular, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like you don't hear about it that much in the zeitgeist of things.
Well, maybe not in the American bubble that you live in.
That's true. I do live in a bubble. Bubble Boy, great film.
That's also, sure.
Yeah.
That's a film.
It
Great
is
a strong word, but it is a film.
It's something I've seen, at least.
This is what sounds interesting about this show. So Money Heist, it says the narrative is told in a real-time like fashion and relies on flashbacks, time jumps, hidden character motivations, and unreliable narration.
I really do like unreliable narration. It is a thing that I'm really into. The movie The Father, you seen that with Anthony Hopkins?
Oh, no. Have I seen that?
Like,
I don't think I've seen that.
Really good. He has Alzheimer's, so you're through his perspective, but things are just changing all of a sudden, so you're really thrown off. I've recommended a lot of things on this podcast that have nothing to do with Netflix, but still.
God, if people are taking a tally, making a list of all the shit they
take notes,
are
baby.
being recommended to watch, then they'll be busy for a couple millennia.
Yep. Well, the millennia I've lived through has been pretty good.
So on the show Money Heist, to make the plot more realistic, the producers requested and received advice from the National Police and the Spanish Ministry of Interior.
I thought you were going to say Armada.
I can see why you'd think that.
It's the only Spanish thing I know, aside from my grandmother.
They actually used banknotes printed with the permission of the Bank of Spain, but they had an increased size as an anti-counterfeit measure. So there were money on the show, on the set, that they didn't want people to take and try to spend. I love the idea of a camera operator taking this huge increased size dollar bill to...
It's like a Happy Gilmore check.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're too, you get it.
I get it.
The real Bank of Spain, which is where one of the heists take place, was unavailable for visiting and filming for security reasons, so the producers recreated the bank on a 2-level stage, and what I thought was most interesting about this is they had over 50 paintings commissioned to place on the set of the bank to make it look real. They had 50 paintings made.
Wow.
It's like, you don't have, we appreciate detail, but no one would have noticed if you had 40 paintings or no paintings.
Imagine being the person who was the painter, though. That's a good gig.
Yeah, that's a good gig. Maybe. I don't know. The hand's going to hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Ambidextrous painter? That'd be impressive.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's a thing. Also a thing is you did it.
Well.
With significant help.
I did do it. I'm now self-conscious that you did better on my podcast than I did on yours, so I'm going to go back, pull the episode down, edit in some more misses while impersonating you.
Holy shit.
So that we're at least equal.
Impersonating me? No, you're going through a lot of process here to make this happen.
I might hire Frank Caliendo to do it or something. Or
you could just take the episode down completely.
Nah, I can't do that. The people need it.
No one want to miss those downloads. Yeah.
The people need it.
Do they? I don't know. But I think what they do need is the edited version where you do impersonate me. I would listen to that more than I'd listen to the real thing.
I'll give it my best shot.
All right. I would love to see that. But let me go back through the top 10. Top 10-ish. Number 14, Season 2 of The Witcher. 484 million hours watched. Number 13, season 4 of Ozark. Number 12, 13 Reasons Why, season 2. And that's funny because number 12 is 13 Reasons Why.
Number puns.
Just saying.
It's
Cute.
good stuff.
Number 11 is Inventing Anna. Number 10 is season 1 of The Witcher. Number 9 is season 1 of the Korean show All of Us Are Dead. Number 8 is season 5 of Lucifer. Too many moms. Hashtag too many moms.
Hashtag it.
Number 7 is season 3 of Stranger Things. Number 6 is part 4 of Money Heist. Number 5 is season 1 of Bridgerton. Number 4 is season 2 of Bridgerton.
Porno.
Number 3 is part 5 of Money Heist. Number 2 is season 4 of Stranger Things. And number 1, with 1.7 billion hours watched in the first 28 days, by the way, is Squid Game.
Incredible.
So Squid Game number 1, 1.7 billion hours. Number 14, with The Witcher season 2, had 484 million. So what is that? That's at least 3 or 4 times the amount of people.
I'd say 3.6, which is deadly accurate.
Yeah. Okay. Almost too accurate.
Math whiz.
No. Do you really think of yourself as a math whiz?
I don't know, but why do they only use the term whiz for math? No one says you're a science whiz.
I've heard people say I'm taking a whiz.
Ah, that's true.
That was also, I might have heard that when I was like 9 years old. Also, it's not like something I hear regularly.
We should bring it back. We should bring that back.
The people listening are like, no, God.
Yeah, well, it's already a thing. Hashtag whiz or something. Taking a whiz. Too many moms taking a whiz.
Or it's like the Seinfeld. I'm the whiz. Nobody beats me.
Nobody beats the whiz. Now we are old. Nailed it.
Well, to be fair, we were already old before.
Well, yeah, but we are older than when we started.
Also true. And the listeners will be older when they listen to the HBO equivalent, the HBO counterpart of this same top 10 list over on your podcast, The Link.
Indeed, indeed.
But I'd love for you to, if you want to plug that or just your show in general, what can people expect when they listen to The Link? And where can they find it?
Well, a lot of this, first of all.
Yeah.
You can get it anywhere there's podcasts. I'm interested in movies, music, TV, the whole entertainment industry, honestly, but an important thing that I do on my podcast, I'm jealous of you in some ways that you have such a tight theme. I think I might have said this last time, but I don't. And the thing that I think benefits me in that way is that I'm always super into the episode that we're doing. So if it's a review of, I did an episode, this is a totally random one, but a love letter to Outkast, because I love the band Outkast. So I went through their discography and it was really fun and I really enjoyed it. And then you'll catch me on an episode doing an Oscars recap we do every year, where we break down every single movie, or one where I interview stand-up comedians like Adam Ray, who is hilarious. Or there's a lot of different things, all mostly in the entertainment industry, but whatever strikes my fancy at the time. So you're never catching me on like a thing that I don't want to talk about, which I think is somewhat of a benefit.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think that's a good way to sell the show too, is like, yeah. And I think that's true. And I find that most of the episode topics you cover are things I'm interested in too. And I think it's things that the large majority of Tennis podcast listeners would be into as well.
You want to catch one with my parents, by the way? We did a bracket where we tried to find the best bagel flavor. I mean, it got out of control, to be honest.
It's the everything bagel, by the way.
Well, I mean, spoilers, but everyone knows who's the king, you know? But getting there was tough, by the way. I still recommend listening to it.
Yeah, well, like I said, the parent episodes are the best. And I've been on your show twice now. The one that just came out this week, as people are listening, this week it came out on your show, the latest episode. But also back in September of 2021, I looked this up. I'm not a freak. In September of 2021, I was on your show guessing the top 10 biggest opening weekends in box office history.
That was a good one, too. Yeah.
So there is plenty of Nick over there on the link, including potentially some Nick impersonations coming soon from your host, Mike.
That's right. It's going to sound great. It's going to sound just like you. In fact, if you don't even notice the impersonations, just assume that it's me.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I could also be you right now.
Yeah, sorry. I had to pause because I was saying both things.
Wow.
Yep. Nickception.
Wow. Nickception. Jesus Christ. We got to end this. This is getting out of control.
I mean, there's no better way to wrap it up.
Nickception. I love it. Put down that remote. Pause your streaming original series. because it's time to stream some podcast reviews into your fucking ears right now. Every week on this show, I read reviews from listeners just like you, and I'm going to start this week with one from Mixtape Majesty on Apple Podcasts, who says, a really interesting assortment of different topics and a very personable host. Well, Nick does a great job choosing the right guest for a wide range of topics. Did you all get that? Should I read it again real quick? Tell you what, I'll read it again real quick and I'll hit the key point, the points that I think make this review extremely helpful to new listeners. Very personable host. Nick does a great job choosing the right guest for a wide range of topics. I assume you must have skipped the Dr. Buster episodes. Not sure if he was the right guest at any time, but anyway, I'm yanking your chain there. Thanks for the review. One more here from HMon2786. This is on Apple again. Such a hilarious show, informative, and great entertainment. Well, actually, it's edutainment around here, but I'll accept your review nonetheless. Thank you. I've learned I'm personable. I do a great job choosing guests most of the time, and we are informative, and that's the number one thing I want to be, informative. I hope you learn something every time you listen to this show, because I learn something every time I record the show, every time I do research, if I bring in the list, or if I'm guessing someone else's list, every time I learn something new. That's my number one goal. And if you learned something new from me right now, if you take anything away from me talking right now, I hope it's that you will leave a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser or on Good Pods. Go there, rate us 5 stars, write a review. I'll read it no matter what it says. Make it good. And by the way, you can also rate us 5 stars on the Spotify app if you listen to us there. Take your chubby little finger, hover it above that little star icon near the top of our Spotify page, bring your finger down in a straightforward motion, tap the star button, rate us 5 stars. It takes less time than it took me to explain it. Do it. It helps us. Thank you. All right, enough of this shit. Let's get back to the show with Mike. Last thing. Of all the shows we talked about, which one's the one you recommend most people check out?
I haven't actually seen it, but Bridgerton, everyone loves porno.
Bridgerton. Yeah, everyone loves a soft porno. The more moms, the better.
Yeah, soft it up.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I never understood? Last thing, I swear, then we can stop.
No.
You call it softcore porn, but everybody's hard.
Sure, but you're less hard, perhaps, than you would be for a hardcore porn.
Are you?
I don't like the phrase hardcore, but just like...
No.
Just porn. Regular porn.
Just porn it up.
If not softcore, what would you call it? Like
gentle?
PG porn? Gentle porn? Cuddly porn? Snuggle porn?
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Except that would actually just be like a YouTube video of snuggling a teddy bear. Snuggle porn.
Naked, though.
Well, yeah, you're always naked.
Porn you could take home to your mom, you know? Soft stuff.
I'll leave you with this. It's the last thing I'm going to say. Hashtag too many moms.
Hashtag too many moms. He's Mike. I'm Nick. Go listen to the link. Check the show notes. He also has a sports podcast. I'll put a link for that in the show notes, too. If you're into sports, you need to go check that out on YouTube. And Mike, anything else you want to say?
I'm Nick. You're Mike. And, we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.